Looks like we're live.
Sweet.
So, for any of you that are joining us directly from the Lightning Strikes Twice, we were talking a little bit about war robots and
Mhm.
vaccine skepticism, and um, in the Lightning Strikes Twice that we recorded just now, that you don't get to see yet because we have to edit that. Uh, we were also talking about how indifference to injustice uh, has a harmful element to it, and all of this kind of coalesces around the current goings on in Venezuela with their uh, albeit illegitimate presidents being
Y-
kidnapped by the
y-
U.S. and
Well, and that's yeah. I think that it's much more complex than I think like the media would tell you. There's a lot, as always. There's more to the story. It isn't like
yeah, everything's
black and
always
white.
complex, but there's also things that are pretty clear and
Yeah, well,
blatant.
because I had a note for today's topic, and it was just war underlined. Like that's what I wanted to talk about is war. And we've
War.
talked about it many times. Yeah, what is it good for? Careful, we don't want to get a copyright strike if we go too far with that one. Um, but I think, well, we've talked about it quite a bit, and I'm sure we can go into that. But yeah, as far as like the current event, like with Venezuela and Maduro and stuff, I don't. I, it happened, and I haven't had a chance to really read up on exactly what went down, but I do know that it was kind of a from a military standpoint pretty cool, like pretty slick the way they did things. Um, and I'll say, okay, I don't like the idea of like empire building and structuring and taking out this government, and because that's what the US has done for the longest time
Yeah,
through the CIA, right? Like basically look at anything in the last half century or more where there's been some kind of conflict or there's an uprising or whatever, a dictator is installed or upended or whatever, and the CIA's got their fucking paws in that um, every single time. So I don't like that. Like we don't need to be messing around. Like the reason why the Middle East is all screwbally right now is because the fucking CIA. Like it was all right, and even like South America too, like Venezuela, Argentina, those places were pretty okay. I mean, until the CIA started meddling in there, and it's like, okay, well, Maduro definitely needed to go. I'll say that, but okay, well, why this and not
right.
all the other guys that need to go, right?
Exactly.
What
Like,
about North Korea, huh? Why not
yeah,
liberate
well,
those people?
I was just like, of course, there was like an internet conversation that was going on about it, and somebody was like, well, I mean, there was an arrest warrant, and he was a war criminal, blah blah blah, or whatever. Like, actually, I don't even know if they're calling him a war criminal, but whatever. Like, arrest warrant, okay, but like, that's not how you do that, clearly, because Putin's got a fucking
I
warrant for his arrest.
I was gonna
Netanyahu, or
say,
what, however you say that. Like,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so
What
many
about that?
Al Qaeda and all these shit. Like,
Yeah,
why aren't you doing that to these guys? All of a sudden, there's a fucking surgical strike on teeny tiny little Venezuela.
yeah. Well,
You
we
know,
know why. We know why.
oil.
Now,
Yeah,
now, of course, it could be if it all depends on how the cards fall and stuff, but it is possible that it could be beneficial to the Venezuelan people. Like if all that, because they do have a lot of oil, and so there's a lot of potential wealth there as long as it isn't being funneled to the government. If it's being funneled by private Venezuelan companies that maybe are working with companies,
oh, but it won't.
other,
It won't. Trump
well,
Trump already said it'll be handled by very large U.S. corporations.
but that
Uh,
that could still benefit the Venezuelan people. Like they might still, if you've seen how things have been, the last while, under the last couple of administrations there, it's shit. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, it can't be worse than shit. You know, like, so I guess I always hold out hope, a little bit of optimism that, like, maybe, even in the darkest storm, there's a little bit of light, a sliver of light, that maybe the people of Venezuela will end up coming out better off than they were, and that's fine. Um, but I'll tell you what. Here's the thing: the thing that I guess I look at in this particular situation as being, I guess, an improvement over the past is that in the past there'd be somebody like, Saddam Hussein, let's say, or whoever. You pick your bad guy. There's trading cards for those guys. Pick your bad guy, and instead of just like going in and getting that one guy, like the US has had a tendency to kind of
Mhm.
just go to fucking war with the country. Like, oh, yeah, we're going to just invade and bomb and destroy all kinds of shit, and like tanks and planes and shit like that. Like, okay, this at least is, I guess, acceptable, to me, in that sense. It's like, okay, well, not not a lot was destroyed in this. Like, okay, they were like, well, they identified the guy. Okay, I'm not going to cast judgment on that process, but they did. And then they're like, well, we're going to just go grab him. And and they did. And like, oh, there wasn't a whole bunch of fucking military operations going on. This is good.
Well, there
Like,
was this whole
well,
Southern Spear thing for months, and like,
that
yes,
was a
it was
different
like
thing.
in the moment, it was a 2 hour surgical strike,
Yeah.
and to their credit, they just went for only like
Yep.
the things that would impede them from doing that.
Yeah.
But that was illegal. The way they
Yeah.
went about it, bypassing Congress and everything, totally
Well,
illegitimate, not
but as
good.
Nixon famously said, if the president does it, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
Which,
And
of course, I interpret totally differently than Nixon
right.
did.
Well, and then the fucking Supreme Court earlier that last year had to go and basically make that the rule, which I was like, oh fuck, that that right there is
Mhm.
shooting yourself in the foot because and here we are, like he'll just do whatever he wants. If it's
Well,
illegal, well, I'm doing it officially, so it's not illegal.
and that is the unfortunate, sad state of affairs within the U.S. and many
Mhm.
countries. Not We're the U.S.
I
is
mean,
not alone in this kind of bullshittery.
I
Um,
mean, I will agree with you on the grounds that like if that's okay, I fully think it would be okay and actually a super good idea if some other country came in and swooped Trump out of there and held him accountable in whatever court.
yeah, but you could
Like
see
the
what
US would hugely benefit from having that like
you,
tumor removed
you could see
surgically.
what
Uh,
kind of like can of worms that would open, of course.
well, what can of worms is it opening for Venezuela? Like
Well, I
you're
know.
you're not you're not just talking about Venezuela being in flux. This the whole region is now in danger of like who knows what's going to happen. Balances of power
Yeah,
shift and everything,
it
and
always
like
has been, and this is the problem with democracies and monarchies and whatnot, and government in general. It's all bullshit. Like everything, it's the sword of Damocles always hanging over everybody's head. Like at a moment, any moment, like it can all fall apart because it's based on bullshit. It's just
mm,
it's all fabricated. It's made up. Everybody, it's faith based, really. That's what it is. That's government. That's economies. Like all of it is completely faith based, and so it's like I don't. This is why I don't give a shit about that's going on. It's like, well, yeah, it's business as usual. It's the same shit that's happened over and over again. It'll happen in the future. It's going to keep happening. And this goes back to what you're saying about indifference and how see, I have a different kind of indifference. Mine is like I have lost all sense of faith in government. The just the principle of government. Like I think it's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense at all, and it does nothing to benefit people, and it
Hmm.
does everything to benefit itself. So I have no faith in that anymore. It's like I don't believe in that stuff. And I believe in community. Like the only way we can actually affect change and build a better, brighter future is locally. And if locally spreads to nationally or internationally, then well, there you go. Like we don't need kings, we don't need gods, we don't need false religions or whatever, like because that's what you get. Like the shit that's happening right now is the product of all that stuff.
Hmm.
um and so I'm like, well, I can't really bother myself to be concerned about it other than just observe it and comment on it, because we're essentially powerless to
Yeah.
do to
Well,
really
yeah.
change that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even the government itself has neutered itself.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so like even if Congress wasn't a bunch of limp dick pansies, like they wouldn't actually be able to do anything.
Well, and they
So,
wouldn't be inclined to do anything because they stand to make a pretty penny off of
right.
any kind of thing, whether
Right.
it be like it doesn't matter if we, like the US, wins or loses. Like the military contractors make buku bucks, and I can guarantee you 100% of everybody up there in the upper echelons of government is up there scooping up the ducats.
Well, here's what I would like to see happen. Like in the chessboard of Earth, I feel like there might be an advantage to the severe brainwashing that surrounds the US military and the patriotism that exalts it, um and that is that people in the military do feel a sense of honor and duty to the hi Victoria.
Hey, how's it going, Victoria?
They do feel like a sense of honor. I would hope at least most of them do.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though they're carrying out these fucked up orders, which gives me a little bit of pause to say what I'm about to say, but I would like to think that if somebody swooped in and took Trump the way he did with
Maduro, yeah.
Maduro,
Maduro, yeah.
um, uh, I would like to think that the United States military would say, "Okay, yeah, we'll we'll escort you safely to the White House, help you do this," and just basically say, "No, we're not going to fight. There's not going to be a war. This guy's fucked up. Please take him away. We'll help."
Of course.
And then just rather than like try to fix the broken system with the broken system, balkanize the shit out of the US and say, hey, we already have a semi-sovereign state system. So the states aren't going to just collapse and
No, they
completely
won't.
cease to function without federal government above their heads.
Yeah.
They actually could just break off, do things how they want to do,
Well,
modify the
for a
system a
long
little bit, and
time, for the
just be
longest
a bunch
time,
of countries like
early
Europe.
days, 1700s into the 1800s, states pretty much operated completely autonomously.
Yeah, the
And
EU is
but
actually a superior system to how the US is doing it, and they would be wise
but
to set up a similar system, I think.
they did. It was called the United States of America.
Yeah, no, it's not the same though. Like the
Well,
United States has a federalist uh
okay, yeah, yeah.
control
There's
scheme over it. So it's kind of like a dictator that's not a dictator. He's got
well,
some powers that are restricted or used
and
to
that
be.
was that was what I was going to respond is like what you proposed, or your hypothetical scenario of somebody coming in and taking out the current sitting president of the U.S. It's not going to do dick all. Like the problem is not the president. The problem is the system that the president is like is within. That's the
Mhm.
problem. So like the idea that we're gonna just fix everything, like wave a magic wand, and bad man goes away, and oh wow, everything is awesome, just like the Lego movie. No, it won't be. It's gonna be bullshit
Well,
again. Like,
no, no, it won't because like in Venezuela, they took one guy out
yeah,
and the US is now going to assume control of the country. So
yeah.
why
Well,
wouldn't that be the same if somebody took Trump out and then that military would basically say, okay, here's how things are going to be. And from that point, it can go one of two ways. They can either decide to rule the United States as is, or say to the United States military, how about you guys facilitate changing it into
okay,
this?
okay. Well,
Like
as I've talked about ad nauseum on this channel, if you did that, who does it, and what is their plan? Because
each
that
state does
really,
it.
huh?
Like
What's that?
each state becomes their own country,
But
essentially.
I don't see that like happening. That's the problem. Like, okay, let's say whatever president, a given president is taken out in one way or another, assassinated or something like that. Um, well, Kennedy was taken out, and then you had fucking what's his name, Johnson, that came in after that.
But he wasn't taken out by a foreign power.
It doesn't matter who takes him out.
Yeah,
You
but
were just saying take him out,
there's a
right?
no, there is a difference because when a president's assassinated by a citizen, there's a system in place to say, okay, now the vice president takes over,
Which
or if he keels over and dies or
yeah, no,
whatever,
no. There's a
like
whole
that's a completely different thing
there's a
from another
continuation of
power
governance,
coming in and saying, hey, we captured your king, now we rule the
well,
roost,
I
like
mean, if you're talking the current president, then Vance would just become president and business as usual. It would just carry on. Or
yeah, but I'm
if
not
that's the
talking
case,
about
then the
just
next guy and the next guy down the line, like there's a whole structure in place. They've already thought of all this. So, like,
you're missing what I'm talking about. Like I'm
okay.
not talking about assassinating Trump. I'm talking about another country or countries collectively doing what Trump did to Maduro to
Mm-hmm.
Trump,
Yeah.
removing him, capturing him, kidnapping him, whatever, arresting
Yeah.
him, however you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
taking him away and assuming control of the United States temporarily or whatever.
I don't know that that would be good. I will say, like, it depends on, again, who does it and what's the plan and why. Like, it and that again, it goes back
The
to like, I
plan is
don't,
world stability. Like
well,
leaving him in power is a direct threat to the rest of the world.
I
Uh,
see. This is
it
the thing. I don't see any difference between this president and the previous one and the one before and the one before. Like, it's
because
all
you're
the same.
indifferent and you're not really
I know
paying
I'm not
attention.
indifferent. I'm like objectively analyzing things, and like I'm not beholden to the emotional pull of politics. Like, I don't give a shit about politics. What I care about is humanity, people, community, my neighbors. Like, I care about that kind of stuff. And to me, politics is no different than religion. It's like, I don't care who the fucking Pope is. Does that really affect my life? I mean, maybe if it was like 600 years ago, it probably would. But it would be begrudgingly that it would affect my life. I wouldn't be like, oh, wow, exalt the Pope. I don't fucking care who's Pope. Just like I don't care who's president. I don't care about any of that shit. It doesn't,
And that's
like,
fine. That's fine that you have like a cushy enough life to not have to care about that sort of thing. But like,
well,
if you have empathy for others, why
I,
wouldn't you
I do.
suffer with them?
I do,
Like,
and that's exactly why I want to propose realistic solutions that actually can solve things. You're not going to solve things by like supplanting one dictator with another. Like, maintaining the structure of the system, but the CEO Oh, you get rid of this CEO,
But you
and now
just
you
said
put
it could be a very good thing for Venezuela. Like, why could it fix Venezuela, but it couldn't fix the United States?
well, I don't think it could fix Venezuela. I think it could improve things because the way things have been, it is a dictatorship. And I think we can kind of agree that is generally not beneficial to the people. Um, Especially if you look at the history of Venezuela. It used to be a very metropolitan, very high end place, like a great place to live. Like they were pretty well off, and then all kinds of shenanigans happened, and like all that oil money went to the bigwigs and a bunch of shitheads, and now they're not in a good place. And it's like, okay, well maybe you know,
How though can you like claim to have empathy, but also be immune from an emotional pull from political strife? Like empathy is about like relating to
yeah,
emotion, allowing emotion to guide your opinions based
yeah,
on what's happening. Like it's not a
absolutely.
bad thing to get emotional. I would actually argue it's bad to not allow yourself to get emotional when things are, like emotion's there for a reason.
Well,
If
no,
you're
no, and
feeling emotion well up in you and you're actively suppressing it, that's
no,
the
no.
point
There's
you
no
need to
that
stop and
no.
ask
You're
yourself, like,
completely misinterpreting things. I'm not suppressing anything. Um, it's just that like I don't. I guess my emotion comes down to like the hope for the future, of like what I believe humankind is capable of and what we should be doing. And the dream, I guess. And I I'm not gonna. I guess my point is like I'm not gonna just nitpick on like one guy or another guy or one system or another system. They're all fucked. They're all flawed. All of it across planet Earth. There's nothing that works. Like
right. But
there are things that
they're not
kind of work.
equally flawed. It's not like each
No, no,
one
no.
is
But
just as bad as the
no,
one before,
but
or
to me, it's a logic thing too. It's like it would. I guess it seems counterproductive to just be like, well, we need to destroy this thing because it's bad. Just in the end of story, right? There's your entire game plan. This is bad. Let's get rid of it. Well, okay, then what? I'm the then what guy. Like I'm always thinking forward. It's like, playing a game of chess, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah.
not worried about like taking that pawn. You're like, okay,
That's
I'm
exactly what I said. I even said in the chessboard of Earth right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like
So how are we?
well, hang on. It might actually be to our benefit that the United States military has so much like honor around it that they might actually cede to whatever force would do that and work together with them to, like, because with the EU, like kind of the history of that, it came about after World War II, after like one of the most tumultuous times in recent human history.
Well, the
And
UN came about after that, and then the EU came about like in the 90s. So, but I mean, yeah, you're right. Correct. After
well,
World War II. Yeah.
yeah, but like it was like a evolution.
Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of was around before that. It just had a different name. But
There was
anyway,
also the League of Nations after World War One, a
and the
very
League of
similar.
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, but that's a movie that is so underrated. It's way better than people think it is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
But anyway, like the reason that came about was it was learning from mistakes, and it was taking the opportunity for something that had been completely leveled, like taken out and destroyed and ruined, and
yeah,
building it back with something quite different. Albeit something that it was like 20 years prior already doing before The administration that fucked it up came in and changed everything, but
Mhm.
they also looked to the US a lot for some other ideas that they layered on top of that.
And
And then on top of that, they went above and beyond what the US did because the US had already been kind of old enough to be stuck in its ways and not learn from its own mistakes. And they were like, wow, what we just saw, we have to think about that too. And
you
that's
know, all
the
this,
fundamental flaw of the US is they're never saying, you know what, that last president had some flaws. We need to maybe fix those things every time
well,
there's a change, you know? Like,
yeah, except see that this somehow see, I don't think we disagree that much, despite what you're saying, but this reminds me of one of my favorite video games, Star Control 2. And in that, you explore various star systems and encounter various species, and you interact with them. And sometimes they're allies, sometimes they're enemies, you know, and you collect artifacts and eventually like save the galaxy. Um, but in that, there's a species called the Thradash, who are basically the game's version of the Klingons. Um, and they're warfaring and they talk about like previous uh empires essentially that existed, like, oh, this they call them cultures. So culture 19, oh well, they were a bunch of idiots, but culture 20, we're the smart ones, you know. And it's like, yeah, but you're doing the same shit over and over and over again. Like i I don't I don't know. I You have to have a plan, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like, but
And
nobody,
that
I
was
have
what I was
never
talking
heard a
about.
plan. I've never heard a plan from anybody of like, what do you do after, let's say you just burn it all down, right? How do you rebuild it? In what image do you
Who
rebuild
says you
things?
have to rebuild it as it stood? And that's what I'm talking about is balkanization.
Well, and that's why,
That's the plan. Like that's the thing. Like, and it's not a plan, it's 50 plans or more or
well,
less. Like
no,
you just
you're,
kind of let them work together amongst themselves and say,
yeah,
you know, like let's draw some lines here because, you know, Washington State could be like, you know what, politically we're kind of divided here. Why don't we redraw the map a little bit? Why don't we
yeah,
connect with these guys and those guys? You know, like it would be opportunity for change. You know,
absolutely. Well, and this,
when you wipe something off the map and have a clean slate, you can kind of do whatever. And
as well, and that's the problem is you have opportunistic people who come in and swoop in and manipulate people because we've been propagandized and manipulated for so long. People want a leader when that is exactly the problem. That is why things are such a mess, is because people want a leader. They want to look up to somebody. They want the Pope or whatever.
honestly, like Texas would probably decide to be like an
Texas would be,
anarchist
yeah,
country.
they would be,
You
yes.
know, you could move to Texas and be a happy little camper, you know, like
Yeah, well, maybe, but and that, no, I think we do agree in that. It's like if we wipe the slate clean, I think an anarchist approach would be the best way. Basically, just let people do what they do. You know, whatever works
yeah,
for whatever region for this group of people and stuff. I like, it'd be stupid for, well, okay, from an engineering standpoint, like you're saying with the EU and the US, like looking towards each other and whatnot, like that makes sense.
yeah,
Share information, like share experiences, like, hey bro,
and a
maybe
common
don't do
currency,
this, or this
you
is a
know.
good idea, that's a bad idea. Like, look at what
Hmm.
we did here and how expensive that was to fix. um
Yeah.
like that was a mistake. So you would probably see that. And I'd absolutely, I think, no, you're right. Balkanization is definitely the better way.
Hmm.
Because
There's a geographical reach to power. Like,
yeah,
you know, you really can't. Oh, we got
we
a
have
hot
so many
take
comments
coming
here.
in here
Yeah.
on the comments. We need to get a, we need to get all the way to one world governance before fully breaking the system. Ask me to explain when you see this.
I
Well,
disagree with that
while
entirely.
you type
Okay.
your explanation, yeah, okay, one world governance. I'm not. I'm not against that in principle, but I
You know
think
what?
that would come much later than fixing the world police first.
Well, you know, I actually kind of I kind of agree with you, and I
yeah,
do agree with Victoria in a certain way. That if there is like the world government, right? If there is such a thing,
mm,
should be minimalistic. Like, okay, you settle disputes, you keep people from fucking killing each other. All right. So if there's gonna be some kind of war, there has to be justification. All right. And if there's no justification, well, they squish it. And then that's about it. There you go. Like that is the only thing the government does is just keep the peace and let people explore their different options because it's like what works in one place is not always going to work in another. Um,
yeah.
so
The main
yeah,
issue is capitalism, and as long as there are any strong capitalist states, they will break anything else.
well, that depends.
This has been shown to be the case. Often,
That
uh,
does depend
ec
on what you mean by
economics
capitalist.
do drive a lot of things. Well, yeah. Okay, so yeah, capitalism, like on paper, um, as strictly like an economic exchange,
Yeah,
is innocuous enough, right?
free trade
Yeah, but
is
the
fine.
call it whatever you want, corporatism or
Corporatocracy, it's
like
fascistic
unchecked
corporatocracy.
capitalism or whatever, like
It, well,
it's the system as it stands economically tied it
well,
inter like tendrils in the politics and all that.
oh
Like
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
bad stuff.
Well,
Bad
and
stuff.
that's I agree. I agree. And it's like again, yeah, like you said, like call it what you will. I call it fascistic corporatism or corporatocracy. Um, and some people call it capitalism. It to me that just means free trade, which is completely fine. Like, isn't that what we want? Like, I don't want a bunch of you know big wigs like telling me.
Capitalism is more than free trade, though. It's also
Well,
about like profit and
it,
stuff
it,
like that.
I mean
So
that's perfectly fine. Like if that's totally fine as long as you can't leverage government systems to mess with the system. There should, in fact, to me, capitalism is a system without system. It's like Bruce Lee with Jeet Kune Do, right? You know, like form without form. Like true capitalism is just free trade, which is how it should be. And I would, if there was a one world government, then it should enforce that. That like,
mm,
hey, if there's people meddling in economies of other countries or places, like you can't do that. Hey, get out of there.
mm,
Um, and of course, keeping the peace. And you know, the thing is like, sex and trade prevents war. So as long as there's trade, we'll be fine. Like you're not going to see a lot of conflicts. And as long as there are no kings, no gods, no rulers, um,
yeah.
we won't see that. That why, how would you rally the soldiers? Um,
But as far as a new world order, that that is like I think something like that would be okay as long as it were purely um what's the word I'm looking for? Like advisory,
yeah, yeah,
like not actually having power, but really more just like a collection of diplomats and delegates from each country who kind
yeah.
of report to one another on what's going on, what the problems are, where their strengths are, and how they can help others,
Mhm.
and who needs help, and basically coordinating and and uh, delegating to smaller organizations, whether it's governments or
Well, yeah, and I don't,
natural hierarchies and
and
anarchist
yes,
camps
there's
or whatever,
hierarchies are
whatever you want to call
fine,
it.
but like it comes down to like you're not large and in charge just because you won a popularity contest. That's
Right.
that's the that is the pitfall that we're in right now. Is
Yep.
that all the people, every single one of them who's like in charge, right? They didn't get there because they're good at knowing, they're not like wise and know how to do things. They got there because they won a popularity contest, like 100% of the time. Um, and that doesn't
At
benefit
least in the
people.
US. There are other countries that
Across the
have
world. Now,
had like scientists and
yes,
like
the odd,
actually intelligent people running their country.
there are the scant few, but definitely that is definitely the exception, not the rule. And so that is problematic, I think. Um, and I'd like to see all that go away. That's my point. Is you think it's bad right now. It could be so much worse. The potential for things being very, very, very bad, like the, the saplings have been planted already. It's already there in place, just waiting for something to come along. Like, and I think we should probably squish it before that happens. Um, just my thought, my two
Mm.
cents. We have a whole bunch of comments though, like a lot of comments.
Uh, yeah, free trade is not capitalism. Like, yeah, that they're yeah, one's
It depends
part of the
on
other,
your
but it's
definition, I guess. But yeah,
I mean, like it's far more complicated than just free trade. But yeah, the private holding of public good for capital gains. They will always be able to, as long as they can hold public property. Uh, yeah, and yeah, like I have a big problem with privatizing anything that like profits off of making sure others aren't doing so well. Like that's fucked up, Like I have ethical problems with that, Like
well, and so do I, and that's why I fucking hate the government. I'll just say that.
and that's why I hate giant
Well,
corporations.
see, like we agree on that. That like, hey, we have a common enemy, right?
Mhm.
Kinda. Yeah. I because I think
But that's the thing, like corporations can exist in a capitalist society that also happens to have like social safety nets.
well, and
It
that's
happens
yeah,
here,
yeah. Like
like it's completely possible and actually like the euro is doing much better than the dollar.
well, we've
Uh,
we've had social safety nets back in like the world before the government took control of things. Um, there was quite a bit actually, like just
yeah,
private community based things where people working for a company, they'd all pool their money together, um, mutual aid societies and stuff like that. And it worked. And like, what's good about that is it is just the people building it. It isn't some external force messing around with that and deciding for you how you should do things, how you should conduct yourself. No, it's the people who actually need this stuff
yeah.
who are
But
deciding how to
there's
conduct themselves.
absolutely nothing stopping that from existing today. And
Yeah.
if it were by itself capable of handling all that, why wouldn't it be?
Well, it was for a long time. It just the
Maybe when
reason.
there was a lot less people.
Well,
I'd have to
no.
fact check
The
that. I don't
reason
know.
is because people don't. It's kind of like why people aren't donating to charity that much because they feel like, well, the government will take care of it. It's that whole like, oh, somebody else will clean it up. The tragedy of the commons, so to speak. Um, that people feel like, oh, well, there's a system in place to take care of it, so I don't have to. I can just go about my business. And well, that's exactly how you get into this mess. That's how you get where we are now. Which, by the way, I don't think is that bad. Like if you look back through time, we're actually in kind of a golden age, even though it may not appear to be that way. We're in a pretty good place. Um,
Well, it
it
really just depends on what your benchmark for that is. Like if you like gadgets and cool tech, like yeah, we're like
no
sitting
quality
on top of the pile.
quality of
But
life, like potential for quality of life. Like we are and I'm not talking just the US, I'm talking planet Earth, because this is the context upon which I generally view things. And maybe this is why we butt heads on things often. Like,
Wait, which one of us is living in a different country?
but like, I think quality of life is actually like it is markedly better than it was, say, 200 years ago. Um, it absolutely could be better, and it could absolutely be a lot worse. We've seen the worst that humankind can create, like last century, um, and currently in this century too. But like, I don't know. Oh boy, I
Yeah, I mean,
you don't think it's that bad because of where you are on Earth? No, it isn't. It's an objective analysis of planet Earth. Like, I'm not just looking out my window. um, it we the thing is, even like the poorest people in the most awful places, with technology, with the resources we have, people are able to survive and do better than they were a couple hundred years ago. There's no way you can say like, oh, you know, the
what people?
1700s was a much better time than the
No,
the
I
the
mean,
2000s.
this isn't something I think anyone can actually like say with certainty, but it's like which people, how many of them in what geographical locations in what period of time? Like
That's a good point.
you
That's a
could
good
point
point.
to anywhere on the planet and say they've got it better or worse than they used to or compared to this place over
Yes.
there and
No, no, you're
and
you're
that's
you're 100% correct,
yeah.
and that's why neither of us, anybody, can make a judgment call based on that, because we don't know, right? Like, unless you're able to like have a completely objective play field or whatever to look at things. Everybody's saying like casting judgment on stuff. Um,
Well,
I
I mean, as long as you pick like a benchmark and apply it across the board,
Mhm,
like the state of an economy, for instance. Like
mhm.
now, the trouble with that, of course, is the governments issue their reports based on how the very tippy top of the
Of course.
economy is
Well,
doing.
no, yeah, it's all twisted right
So it
there.
always looks way better than it is. So the US is always looking really good, but it's actually getting way shittier if you think about like how most of the people in the country are being affected by the economy. Like the
Well, it is
the
again like
walls are closing in.
well,
And that's
and that
that's objective. Like you
no,
can
you are 100% correct,
yeah.
and that is by design. Um,
Hmm.
if you look at like the U.S., for instance, the Federal Reserve controls the money supply, and they are tasked with meeting an like a target of 2% inflation. It's inflation that's really behind all this. If we had a totally free market, none of this shit would happen. Yeah, there'd be ups and downs. Markets would kind of like rise and fall and ebb and flow. It'd be, but like most of the time, you'd be able to save money. And oh yeah, if I had $100 20 years ago, it'd basically get me about what $100 would get me now. That would be ideal. But the governmental system, this is why I say it's like it's not about taking out the president or whatever. Like, it's about taking out all of it,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
All of it has to go, because like that whole system, and most people don't even know. They're like, oh well, I got money in my wallet, and you got my debit card, and I buy things, and okay, well, what is that money? You and I, of course, kind of agree on on the concept that
Yeah.
money is not even really like an actual thing. It's sort of just
Yeah.
it's a fabrication. It's just an ephemeral tool that we use to exchange goods and services. Um, and well, it would be nice if that system were completely beyond the control of anybody, right? This is why governments are terrified of cryptocurrency, um, because it represents absolute freedom, and it could be, um, it, depending, but
Yeah. I
well, but at least it isn't like I said, it could be, it
it
could be.
it is so the unregulated nature of cryptocurrency has revealed a flaw to having like no regulation on that, and that's like oversaturation.
Well, but
Like
then
there's
then you're running into
too
the
many
double-edged
different
sword.
currencies to actually allow one to actually find an equilibrium point where it becomes viable for
Well,
everyday spending.
well, Bitcoin and Ethereum are pretty much in that zone of where that they could be, and they have been used. In fact, some countries even use, I think, Bitcoin at least as like coin of the realm. So you can pay your government bills with Bitcoin, which that fixes it right there. There it is. There's the solution. Um, oh yeah, I'm more worried about the environmental and earth cost of mining crypto. Yes, absolutely. That is a problem.
That and AI, I
AI. Oh
actually,
God, AI is way bigger than crypto
yeah,
when it comes to resources.
I think both are like the ideas in principle are good and important to keep working on, like put back on the drawing board, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think we should be like having them all in practice or like integrated into important systems and stuff right now. Like that's just going a little too far,
Well,
too,
and I
too
I
fast.
I don't think, again, I don't believe in like this hierarchical structure where there's like a god or a deity that bestows upon you the great wisdom and how you should live your life and conduct yourself. No. And in that, it's like, okay, we have these potential possibilities. And so we should explore them, but maybe in a smaller, like you're saying, Balkanization. What if Idaho was using Bitcoin? What if California was using dollars or uh, Ameros or something like that? Gold, silver. Actually, gold and silver would be the ideal currency. So let's see. We have the resources to make it better. We're choosing not to. I absolutely.
Yeah,
That is, yes. We we literally live in a post-scarcity world right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Right now. It it it's a whole like collection. Like, there is no easy button solution. There's no like magic bullet. It's going to solve it all. But it's basically like people have been conned, like into believing a certain way, and we're still playing the game as if it's like 19 or well 1742 or something like that. Like
Hmm.
it's like, whoa, bro, we're way beyond that now. um and and that's a problem, and of course the system is feeding on that, and that pisses me off because one, it's a huge amount of waste. Look at governments, like even just like the conversation about waste, fraud, and abuse and blah blah blah. Like, yeah, all of that could have been doing way more than just, I don't know, padding somebody's wallet. you know
Yeah,
like
yeah. Well,
we could literally fix every single problem right now. um
and that is exactly why I was so gung ho about brainstorming a system of currency that doesn't rely on uh you know paper money or digital assets or scarcity even
yeah.
thinking beyond the need for benchmarking everything with scarcity. Because if the currency you're using is just simply a medium of exchange and
Hmm.
doesn't really actually have any value. I mean, we already do this with coupons that
Yeah,
explicitly say these have no value, but
yeah,
they do when you
sure.
use them to
Of
get a
course.
discount. So
And
that's
yeah,
like the
we do
idea
need that.
of like a, a system of economy that it centers around being good people.
Oh, I
And,
agree. I
you
agree
know,
on that. And but we need to explore and experiment and try some different approaches because you and
oh,
I, you know,
Victoria commented, why currency though? Why not generosity? I
yes.
urge you to go back through our catalog to look up Integrity Coin because like I built a whole system in my brain around that
Well, and
very
we've
thing.
talked about it quite a bit too. It's like
Yeah.
we do agree. Like we disagree on kind of the overarching structure of things, but we do 100% agree on the principle of the matter and why.
Hmm.
Like I believe, well, I mean, I have this shirt because I donated some money to the USO. Um, and
United
everybody should
States
do.
of Ocelots?
Yeah, no, no. Um,
That would be
but
cool.
like, and I donate to every organization that I can, especially like, you know, kids organizations like the like anything involving kids and medicine. Like I think that's really, really important. Um, but we should be doing that. But it's just like I shouldn't even have to do that. We have enough resources to fix
Yeah.
almost every problem. We spend so much of it fighting each other and like wasting energy on bullshit. Like, think about how much money governments spend just to be governments. Like, like, it's stupid. It's like, why? It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Why not? Let's try to solve problems. Because man, oh, there's lots of comments here now. And I
Yeah.
did accidentally skip over that one comment too. That sown away. This is worse. People all starving because crops failed because there's no food. It's tragic. People starving because there's food, but a few men won't uh, pass it out. I think is criminal. I'm trying to
Yeah.
correct for the keyboard problems.
Yeah.
Well, no, and that's yeah, we basically already covered that. We live in a post-scarcity world. There's no reason anybody should go hungry, be
Yeah.
thirsty, be without shelter in some form or another. Like at least the bare minimum, we can cover that.
I mean,
Um, and
this
medicine.
is this is why I am in favor of regulation, not because I like it or think that it's a perfect system or even a system without its own unique sets of corruption and
Mhm.
fraud, but the fact of the matter is like if you don't have somebody telling the Scrooge McDucks like, hey, you've got to share a little bit of that because there's only so much to go around and you're sitting on it. Like they're just gonna keep sitting on it, you know?
Well, yeah,
Not all of them. There's like a tiny fraction of rich people that are going around, at least here in Germany, I see them on the news saying like it's not okay, we're not being taxed enough. They're even saying that here in Germany, where they get taxed quite
well,
a bit.
they're saying that in
Um,
the U.S. too, but like tax, just simply being taxed does not like that. It's like
it's better than nothing.
it doesn't
That's the point.
end up
Like
the equal
it doesn't have to
sign.
be perfect, you know?
Well, I know that, but I think we should be better than that. That I guess is my point. Is like I'd rather look beyond the here and now, the simplistic, basic bitch solutions to things. I think we need to be looking to the future, um, and like I don't want to work within the confines of the structures that have been doled out to me. I want to work beyond that. Like, okay, yeah, all those things, those were pretty fine and dandy back in like the 1600s or whatever. But now we're way beyond that. We could do so much if we didn't spin our wheels just doing a bunch of bullshit. Like we could solve almost every problem. Because keep in mind too, it's like, food, water, shelter. You have medicine, like that kind of thing, solving health issues. Like we if we weren't fighting wars so much, cancer would be a thing of the past. Dementia would be a thing of the past, like long ago. we
Right.
have the
Yeah.
technology, we have the capability to achieve that, but we're not endeavoring to do it.
Uh,
And like,
Victoria's got a good point here. The point of rich people saying tax us is we give our money to society, but we don't get to decide what it is spent on, which is
that,
good. And
I
that's
see, I
that's the thing.
disagree with
Like
that.
that's the thing. But it's fine and dandy if you donate to charities, and it's good that charities exist and they have a very real, purpose in society that is good,
Mm-hmm.
but they are never going to be enough. And that is because pooled resource, like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So the money that goes into a system that disseminates it in a more dynamic fashion with shared resources is far more efficient. Even if there's
Okay.
waste and fraud, it's still more
Well, there
efficient.
always will be. So yeah, I no,
Yeah,
I
it's
do
yeah,
agree.
let's try to breeze past all that because and get to the big picture here because like if you have a system, and let's call it the government, that is doling out tax money to the greater good, they've got people they're paying to do that. But if you have charities, each of them has to get people they pay to do that. Yeah, there's volunteers, of course, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's not all operating on volunteer basis. There are people with paychecks
Of
in
course, of
nonprofit
course.
organizations.
Oh,
People
absolutely.
maybe don't understand that, and that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Like
I
these are
it's important.
considerations that most people kind of gloss over when they think, oh, if I give my money to charity, it just magically makes food appear on somebody's plate.
No,
Well,
no,
no,
it
like
doesn't.
there's costs
Of
involved,
course, yeah. There's
and the
costs.
costs are greater for the charity than they are for government systems. Like,
I I actually kind of disagree on that. And it's not because there's inherent variations in those systems, but government system, I don't think it's a better way. Because also it's like all this tax money, right? How long have politicians and bureaucrats been telling us we need more money and we're going to do this, we're doing this thing, we're solving this problem, and yet the problems still exist, right? If I was like, hey, there's that river that people keep crossing, I'm going to build a bridge, all right? Just give me some resources and I'm going to build a bridge. And year after year, I keep saying, "Oh, I'll build the bridge eventually," but the bridge never comes. Well, at some point, you're going to be like, "Well, you're a liar," or just are incapable of doing the thing you promised. Government
I
has
would be
never, ever, ever made life better for anybody. I would argue, like on the net side of things, it's made life worse. Um, yes, oh sure, a nickel. Here you go, kid. There's a nickel. All right. But like wars and
yeah, no, I
bullshit.
can tell you exactly where the government has made a huge positive impact and why it is better than private organizations doing this, and that is in research. Like all the great research and cures for things, you can trace that back to government grants and like for the stuff that is like all privately funded, you will rarely see anything of
No,
substance actually make it through fruition.
I will give you that. And now, of course, it's not just government. It's a government, like a public-private um,
But the
union.
facilitation is
Yeah,
the
no, no,
point.
no. And like space travel, of course, started because governments were
Yeah, so, I mean
dick
it's
wagon,
it's
essentially.
disingenuous to say nothing good comes of government.
No, no,
Like,
that's why I said net.
yeah,
Like if you add it all up, the net benefit is a negative for the people. people of Earth when it comes to government. Governments are responsible for way more deaths than they are for people being alive. Um, and it's unfortunate. And
Yeah. I mean, that's corrupt governments, not just the fact that a government exists. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, and you're going to get corruption with private things too. So I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
I want to put that out there that it's like
Yeah.
I'm an anarchist, but like even in the private sector, there's going to be corruption, there's going to be bullshit,
Right.
and
Well,
that's a state of the human
that's all I'm
condition.
talking about is like we have checks and balances for, like within the government, and we recognize how that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't really checks and balances in the private realm, as like corporations and stuff, and that's where
Kind
regulations come
of,
in. You know, like
kind of that you have, you can vote with your wallet essentially, which is actually pretty powerful.
it's
Companies take
powerful on
note.
the local level, and that's
Yes,
it.
yes, and that's why I advocate for local action always. Like we look small communities. This is like we need to be a collection of small communities, little tribes across planet Earth.
So
Um,
so let's look at corporations as cancer, right?
yeah, okay,
We've got really big tumors running things. You've got like a few giant corporations that own other giant corporations that also own a bunch of corporations. So like when you
yeah,
you get to the top, there's just a few companies running the show for everything, right?
well, yeah,
And when that
and
happens, they're squeezing out the little guy. They're
no,
completely mowing over
I,
local businesses.
yeah.
There's not even a chance. There's no point in even trying to start your own business in
Well,
most
there can be,
jurisdictions of
yeah.
business. It's not like
You're
20 or 30 years ago, yeah, you
yeah.
still had a chance.
No,
Now
no,
it's like, no.
you're
And
correct
what
in
do you
that. Now,
do? You have to remove the tumor.
well, and of course, what is a
It's not a
corporation?
tumor.
Yeah. What is a corporation? Like when you and I started a business, we had to apply to the state to get a
Mhm.
business license. Like we didn't just open the doors and put a sign up. No, we had to ask permission. And and that's what corporations are. It's a product of the
And
government.
that costs like all of $50, and that was
Yeah,
it, like
but this is how all these systems work. And you're right about a lot of things. And certainly when it comes to big corporations absorbing, like you would think if say like two movie studios merged that you'd have a bigger better movie studio, but it kind of actually doesn't work out that way.
right.
Um and one of the problems is all the executives, like you get this ivory tower effect, which I've talked about it quite often. That the bigger the organization, like the people on the boots on the ground, like the people on the front lines, they know what they're doing. They actually care. And even within government, I feel the same way. Like, if I go into, I don't know, some government building or whatever, and there's a receptionist or just a lackey down there asking me to fill out some paperwork. Yeah, they're a regular human being. But the higher up you go, the further away it gets from like connection to the community. And that's problematic,
Yeah.
both in government and in corporations. And
The
that is a
lizard
problem.
people,
Huh?
the damn lizard people.
Yeah, lizard people. Yeah. No, yeah, they they probably are.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, like they're I won't go so far as to say they're not human beings, but
they are
um,
humans, but it's the ivory tower effect. That's the thing, is they're
yeah, like
disconnected.
I would venture to say there's very likely in a lot of cases true psychopathy,
Yeah.
you know, not murderous necessarily,
No,
but
no,
like
no, no. Yeah. I in
lack of empathy, self-serving behaviors and stuff like that. Like it's pretty clear cut. Like,
for sure.
to be in those positions uh, and actually make it in that jungle, you kind of have to be a
You
psycho.
you do have to, yes. It's
Like
cutthroat
people
world.
with good intentions, they might do well in business, but they're
Mhm.
never going to make it to that level because they're not insane.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to be able to be an asshole.
Hmm.
And
I
that's
mean,
a
even to
problem.
some degree, to be a car salesman, like you've got to be able to turn off your conscience once in a while. And
Yeah,
like some people just can't be a car salesman. I can't do that.
I couldn't either.
I'd be like, honestly, this car kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I want to
I've been
cross
the
the
same
street and
way.
that lot over there looks really nice, you know?
I've worked in sales before, and yeah, I'm like brutally honest about things,
Hmm.
even to
Hmm.
the point of like being critical of the company's products. Um, but like we need more of that, I think. I think that's the thing is like we shouldn't. It does us a disservice. It's a waste of resources and energy to try to solve the problem of like big government and big corporations and stuff. Like we know it's fucked. It's fucked through and through, top to bottom. It's all corrupt. It's terrible. But we also shouldn't be dehumanizing of people because, like, even the dumbest ass politician or CEO or executive in some company, they're still people. They're just people. All that separates them is that separation. Like you just have to recognize they live in a different world. The way they perceive things, it's like they're looking at a different window, so to speak, than we are, and that's fine.
Well,
Um,
the British holiday, Boxing Day,
oh, I fucking love that. Yeah,
things like that, things like Undercover Boss.
yeah,
I really think that practices like that are beneficial
yes,
and should be
yes,
done a lot more because,
I agree.
I still like to believe that some of those people, if they were shown, because, sometimes you get lost in the minutia.
Yeah,
If they were shown other perspectives right before their very own eyes and like experiencing them for themselves and being like, oh, that's kind of shitty. Um, you know, then maybe they would actually do a little bit more on their end
they,
to affect
and
change.
absolutely, and those kinds of
It's like
scenarios, they end up
reprogramming the
doing.
cancer cells
Yeah,
to remove itself, which we're
yeah,
getting
because,
into nowadays, like
mhm. Oh yeah,
exact same thing.
actinium 225 therapy too. Like
Like
that's
like scientific judo. Uh,
yeah, hmm,
and really that's what it's gonna take is like that's why I was thinking, like we can't you're absolutely right. We can't put our reliance on the government to fix the problem of corporations buying the government
yeah,
and squishing the little guy and all that stuff. We have to do that from the ground up without
yes,
the government. And the only way we could do that is by taking away the thing that powers them.
hmm,
And and the only way we can do that, because that's controlled by the government, is to just create something alternative
yeah.
that operates entirely outside of that jurisdiction. And
Well,
that's
pretty
why I
much.
came up with something because crypto, they're finding ways to get their tendrils in that because you still have to exchange it for regular money at
It,
some
well,
point, and then
yes, and it
it's
is a
not
market
really
too,
anonymous anymore,
so people
like
can fidget with those
it's
markets.
always taxable, like like
Well, yeah, unless you operate entirely. This is why I was like, hey, there's a couple countries who take crypto for government bills, which, like, okay, that makes it legit because that is where it all the shit ball rolls downhill to having to pay bills to the government. So if they take crypto, it might actually work. But that's where we need, you know, experiments to be
mm,
like we need, well, like you said, balkanization.
yeah,
We need, because nobody knows the answers to things. Like
yeah.
nobody has the right, oh, like, oh, I have all the answers. Right.
That's
Sure.
why I still have like a glimmer of hope for my idea that at least if such a currency could supplant the need for money in necessities,
Mm-hmm.
like groceries and in some fashion, paying for shelter, whatever, like then money becomes entirely optional at that point, which would completely, like, almost overnight actually sort of fix the current standard economy as we know it, because it's no longer having a stranglehold on the bare necessities. So all transactions become optional at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like
I no,
that's
I
how you
know.
actually get a free market, is if nobody has to buy anything.
Well, no, I get what you're I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Hmm.
I don't believe that what you're proposing will work. However, I
Yeah, it's
do
not
believe,
perfect, but
no. Here's the thing. I believe what you're proposing will inspire the future.
yeah.
That, like, well, people dream of Jules Verne and stuff talking about journey to the center of the earth and whatnot. And it's like, well, now we're living that now. We can do that. We
Hmm.
can go to distant planets and things. It isn't anything like what was proposed in the past, but that was through the lens of the past. Um, so inspiring people, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
To try, because it's like, I don't know about you, but I consider myself to be a total idiot. Like, I just have some dreams and ideas and things like that. And I hope that those things can maybe, I don't know, more wise people can pick up that mantle and like do something in the vein of what I'm thinking in a better way than I could implement. Um, and that would, I would, I would die a happy man if I ever saw that happen. I'll just say that. Oh, we have so many comments too. Um,
Yeah.
uh, a local or having a general idea of the business operating in their area is generally good. Knowing some guys shredding tires for mulch is actually important because those can be toxic to their area. Auto shops dumping stuff is an issue. Um, they need to know where to look when the shit hits the water treatment plant. Yeah, yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
point.
and good luck having water treatment plants if there's no government, things like
No, you
that. Or
still would. There's actually money to be made in that, by the way. Um, but you can also have a community funded thing. Because, like, hey, people want stuff, right? Like, I want a fire department. I want security in the form of not the current form of police department, but something akin to that.
Hmm.
Like somebody I can call if somebody breaks into the house and stuff. Like, I'll pay for that.
Right.
And it end up being cheap if we all pool our resources together in the community. Like, oh yeah, it's
Well,
like,
what size community are you talking about
it
in that
depends.
scenario?
It just depends. It depends on where you live and how dense everything is.
Yeah.
There's economies of scale, of course, in cities that um, you know to have kind of potent resources would be pennies per month. When you've got like millions of people living in a small space,
Yeah.
and then you have like fewer people living in a larger space. It, hard to say, but I
Because when you break tax down into like how many things actually get funded, you are talking about pennies on the dollar for any given thing, like
no,
fire protection,
I agree. I agree.
But if you
However,
pay for a community to hire all these people, it's going to be a lot more than pennies, you know?
not necessarily. No, and at least in that you have a choice. You could decide which company to go with or whatever. Whereas, like, say in Tacoma, for instance, I have the Tacoma Police Department. That's the police. My tax dollars that are forcibly extracted from me, in one way or another, go to fund that, and I'm stuck with them. I can't be like, oh, I want a different police department to come. Now, okay, you can kind of get away with that in Puyallup, because you can have the tribal police. Um, but We don't have that option. I can't be like, oh, I don't like TPU because I fucking hate TPU. I can't be like, oh, I want a different utility company. Um, no, I'm stuck with it because some asshat somewhere up there decided a long time ago that this is how it's going to be, and that's what I have to pay if I want to live here. If I want water, if I want sewer, if I want garbage pickup and stuff and electricity, it all
That
comes
is
from that one monopoly.
that is actually privatized here. There's a couple different companies for power and
Yeah,
gas and
and
all
there
that stuff.
are there
But it's still super fucking expensive.
yeah. Well, and I think that's kind of the
Actually,
crux of
more
the
expensive,
issue
I think,
is
technically.
like it is expensive, but it doesn't have to be. Like we have the this is my point. We have the technology to make it not expensive. It all comes down to energy. Energy is like the genesis of everything. We in like the 20s and 30s, humankind figured out how to have nigh limitless energy. We have it. We've had it for a long time. But we're like, oh yeah, well, I don't know. We're gonna burn coal, I guess. Um, what? What? Why? What? Oh, we're gonna divert rivers and make big old lakes and stuff that we push through a bunch of generators, and then oh yeah, we're gonna make like special ladders so the salmon can come back up. What the fuck? Why? We we can have limitless energy. It's called uranium and beyond, of course, plutonium and stuff like that. Like
Have you heard of the
nuclear power.
problems with private Roman fire brigades? I haven't. Have you?
I haven't heard of that. No,
Hmm.
that's way before my time. Um, I mean, I'm old, but not that old. Um,
We had Powers on the show. He probably knew, like, seemed to
mhm,
know everything about Roman
I know.
Empire.
Yeah, yeah, this would be a good one for that. But like, the point is, energy is where it's at. Like, if you and this is the kind of the gist of what I was saying about like we live in a post scarcity society.
Yeah.
We have the power. There is tens of thousands of years of energy just in the ground that we got to dig up and build some reactors and stuff. And we've figured out how to do that very safely, very efficiently, and we'll keep figuring it out. And eventually we'll
Well,
get to fusion and it's going to get even
I'll
better.
refer you back to earlier in the episode, oil.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have
I well
more
and that's
nuclear power
bullshit.
is oil. Like,
That is kind of the like the point of so many conflicts throughout history.
yeah.
Recent history is oil. All the Middle East. It has
Hmm.
nothing to do with protecting people and blah blah. Okay, no. You know what happened with Kuwait, right? You remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Saddam sent his soul and he had like the fourth largest military on planet Earth. And he sent people in, took over Kuwait, and literally every country aside from Iraq and Kuwait, well, they were like, And so there was this coalition that went in and kicked his ass and kicked him out. Um, and but it was all because of oil.
Yeah.
But like oil is so yesterday. It's so yesterday.
Oh, but
I
it
mean,
still makes money and it will
it
continue to make
it
money.
doesn't have to. Like that this is where government, this is I guess my gripe about government is the reason we're still stuck on oil is because of fucking regulations and government. We have the technology. We've had it for 100 years. 100 years. We've been able to do at least nuclear fission. Um,
Right, right.
we have reactors. There's reactors that we built, and well, there's one in Satsup down the road that they built and then never activated. And
Yeah.
so it's just chilling there. It's like, well, we could have had a nuclear reactor there.
I
Like
mean,
we have,
it's that five whys though. Like, yeah, the government is stopping us from moving away from oil, but why? Because the corporations that make money off of oil are paying the government off.
Yes, you
Why?
are
Because
a
there's nobody to stop the corporations from making limitless profit off of oil. And so they just keep making profit off of oil and paying the government to allow them to do so.
you are 100% correct. And also that's why all these wars happen, which take oil and don't benefit
Mhm.
the people of Earth, and actually, in fact, cause harm to Earth and the people of Earth.
Whoa. Okay. So the comments here, the Roman fire brigades, the private ones,
Mm.
uh, government spending required to build out new infrastructure was unpopular. Private citizens paid for brigades protection. When a brigade wanted more money, they would set the fire and stand out front waiting for the owner to pay. It became a racket.
I
Fucking mafia shit.
It is kind of, yeah, no, that is a problem. But however, government systems are not immune to the exact same things. That's the thing. And this is why I'm like, I don't know what the solution is, but it isn't what we're doing. Um,
Right.
it is
Yeah.
100% not what we're doing.
No, you like I'll say it again. You can't fix a broken system with a
No,
broken system.
no.
Uh,
Well, we're
you know,
basically every so often we're putting a coat of paint on a house that's like rotting and falling apart. Like, okay, well, can we at least at some point recognize that like there's fucking termites down there eating away at the foundation and the structure of the house, and there's like mold everywhere. Like a coat of paint isn't going to fix it, but that's what we keep doing. We're like, oh yeah, fresh coat of paint. What, we're going to paint it blue this year, we're going to paint it red that year. It's all better. Fuck it is. Fucking, oh man.
it's a mess.
Yeah. Well, and that's the point, is like, I think we need to be pragmatic. I guess this is what I'm getting at. We need to be pragmatic about things and come up with like an actual solution that doesn't involve any of this stuff. Um, that is more humanitarian based, more globally based. And no, I'm not a globalist. All right, Alex Jones, fuck you. Um, but still, that is a consideration. Like at the end of the day, we all exist on this spaceship Earth together, and we have to figure out a way to make it work to survive. Because I mean, yeah, all right, exoplanets and stuff. We found like thousands and thousands of them that are sometimes Earth-like, but to the best of our knowledge, we're all there is right here, and that's
Mhm.
it. We fuck up, it's game over, man.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe we should be taking that approach, and thinking along those lines. And this is where it's like, hey, the community kind of things, and like taking care of the planet and the environment and taking care of each other and maybe not fucking fighting, like only if you absolutely have to. Um, but even then, we talked about combat robots, and my idea is like, hey, if you have a, I don't know, a national disagreement, there should be like a fucking UFC for combat robots kind
Yeah.
of thing, where like everybody signs on. They're like, okay, well, you know, we disagree on these things. We're going to bring the best of the best to the fight, and we're going to duke it out, like live streaming and shit. And whoever wins, well, I guess they win. Like, that'd be awesome. I want to see that.
But yeah, like remember the point I made is that like if we just have robots doing the fighting for us, why bother with the fighting part
No,
at all?
you're right. Yeah, you're correct.
Because otherwise
Like,
you're just funneling money into something else wasteful
and
for the sake of
no,
competition,
you're
effectively.
100% correct there. That like, yeah, when you look at it in that light, it's like, what's the point of war? Well, that was stupid. You know, like, wait,
Cobra man. Why are we even
like
fighting,
we
man?
just killed a bunch of people. We got killed. A whole bunch of us got killed. We destroyed a bunch of shit. And then we walk away and it's like, oh, yeah, we're back where we started. Like the Vietnam War or the Iraq War, Afghanistan. Remember that?
Mm.
It's actually worse. Actually, Vietnam's not so bad now. Um, Still, but it's like it could have been fine if we just didn't fucking go to
Pretty low
war.
on the freedom index, having just looked at that
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah,
Uh,
they're not the best, but not the worst. Um,
yeah,
it,
I can't
but
remember how far down it was. Like further down than the US, but not by a whole lot because the US is down to like 57 now.
yeah, I think
Um,
Switzerland is a higher, like it's one of the highest, isn't it?
I don't remember.
Switzerland, Sweden,
They might have been in the top 10, but yeah, like Sweden, Finland,
yeah,
like
the
pretty much
Nordic countries,
all the
yeah.
Nordic countries are top 10. Germany made 11.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, the US has been kind of on the low side for a long time, but
Yeah.
it's way lower now.
And then this is the stupid thing. It's like, all the populace of the US and the government, they're doing their best to make it even worse, to make that number
Yeah.
even lower. Like, how low can you go?
While simultaneously proclaiming over and over again, as if this will make it true, we're the freest country on earth. It's like you're far from it. It actually
Yeah.
like edging toward like the bottom two-thirds.
Yeah. I mean, again, it could always be worse. Um, it Everything is subjective. Like you're looking at things through your own perspective from your own place. Um, but I mean, just saying, oh, it could be worse. Yeah, I mean, it could be, but it
Right.
could be better, right? Like I want the better part. Like I want to make things better. Like less dying, less misery, less suffering, like more freedom.
It
Um,
could be better. It could be worse.
yeah. A wise man once wrote a song about that.
Why am I not happy now?
Yeah. Oh
Why
man,
am I not happy now?
I fucking love. Like I even love the original version of that I think that was done over modem, right?
I don't think it's
That
that
one.
old.
Okay, it
I
was
think
right on
that's a
that
Fruity
edge.
Loop original.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have Teddy warned us the year he died. A desperate man is not a free man.
True.
Yeah,
Well, and that comes down to education too. This is something I believe in, because I believe that for many people, obviously there are exceptions. There's you have physical restrictions, but for many, many, many people, the restrictions that they're faced with are logistical. They're something in your head. It's a matter of knowledge.
yeah.
And we, since I'm being extorted to pay tax money to pay for other kids to go to school, I don't have kids of my own. I'm paying for everybody else. I would love it to be the best education system possible. I want a bunch of fucking Einsteins coming out. You graduate high school, your fourth year, you got to be a fucking Einstein or a Richard Feynman or something like that. Everybody should be that. And if not, why not? Okay.
Well, I mean, there's a reason the Freedom Index looks the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like objective, like tested theory. Like there have been plenty of scientific tests now to show that things like UBI, things like unlimited vacation at work, things that logically even you would assume would breed laziness, lower productivity, increase overall costs, do all the exact opposite. People have more vigor, more inspiration to do their work. They have higher productivity. they have fewer sick days, fewer vacation days even, um, and they have better, healthier lives, start more families, which also improves the economy overall,
Yes. Yeah, because the
So
kids
like,
are paying for the elderly
yeah,
essentially.
and so like time and time again, it's been shown like unequivocally that like helping people helps everybody
No,
and lowers the cost of
I
doing so. Like
I
paying for
this
private insurance is more expensive than paying tax to have the insurance provided.
well, I agree. Like this is the thing. You and I agree on this. Like the concepts and the principles of things. I would just like to see a world where there are options, where you could choose one option or another, and we could put them into the crucible of the scientific and engineering process to
We have
figure
that.
out if it actually works. Like,
That is exactly what we have here in Germany. There's public option and private health insurance.
yeah.
And with the private health insurance, you get faster appointments,
Mm-hmm.
but you're paying more.
Yeah,
And
like the UK and Australia has, and Canada
the, but
also.
the trade-off is you pay out of pocket everything, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then your insurance will reimburse you when they get around to it.
Yeah.
So it's actually not ideal unless you're
No.
super fucking rich to have private insurance.
I would actually okay, kind of a potentially unpopular opinion, but I think we should be paying out of pocket for that stuff. Like there, you should go to the hospital and there should be like, like you go to McDonald's and they're like, oh, a cheeseburger is this much, a double cheeseburger is that, snack wraps, the fries, the drinks. Like you should see the prices on a board when you go
Hmm.
in. It should be the same price for everybody, but it's
Yeah.
not. My brother actually dealt with this because he had to go to the hospital for something, some inner ear infection or something. But he called and asked like, "How much is it gonna cost?" And they couldn't fucking calculate it. Like they couldn't give him an actual number. They're like, "Well, you got to come in to find that out." And he's like, "Well, that sounds stupid," and it is stupid. Like you should be like any other like if you call Nordstrom and be like, well, how much is that I don't know, button up shirt that you had? They're gonna be like, oh, it's this much money. And you go in and you get it. Like,
I mean, I can kind of see that because like it's far more complicated than what you're talking
no,
about
you're
with like,
no, you're
like
correct. Yeah.
they gotta maybe take a blood test and see, oh, can you take this medication or can you not take this med? There's a lot of fucking layers
And
to
if you
healthcare.
involve like surgery or something, there's all kinds of factors at play.
Yeah.
However, it used to be back in the day, from what I've heard in China, that you
I
only
think I
pay.
think I heard this from my dad and told you, and I'm not entirely sure. We
No,
would have to
no,
fact check this.
no. I I've heard it from other sources, not just you,
Hmm.
because yeah, I know you told me the Alf story. Um, um, but no, I've heard it before, and it doesn't matter honestly. As a thought experiment,
Hmm.
like in China back in the day, we're talking a long time ago, you only had to pay when they would solve the problem, cure
Yeah.
you, essentially. If they couldn't, you walked away, you didn't have to pay a single cent. And I would love to see that. I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
That's honest business. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we had that when we ran a business. I mean, we even like paid out of pocket multitudes of thousands of dollars on this very principle of like, hey, if we can't fix it, we're not going to charge you anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, medical care should not be a business from Victoria. I
I agree with that.
Well, but then what would it be? How, like who's going to do it? I mean, it's going to be a business one way or another. And I think it's fine.
Well,
Just
I think she means like for profit.
yeah,
So, like call it whatever you will, like a service or, like the fact that like you stand to you technically stand to gain from the loss of the well-being of others. I mean, really, this is where like the private health insurance companies are guilty of this because they're the ones kind of driving up the cost of medical care.
Yes.
And I know
Well,
you
and
agree
they're
with that.
leveraging government to mandate things and
Yeah,
community service. Victoria's last comment. Yeah. Oh, and if I had to pay out of pocket, I'd be dead or just be dead long before we met. Yeah.
me as well.
And 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 yeah, people doing a job, because obviously if you go to a doctor or a hospital or a clinic or whatever, there's people who are doing those things and they have to maintain their livelihood too. So
Yeah,
it it isn't bad if it's a business. Like what I'd love to see, and this is where it all goes ties back into the whole community thing. I'd like to see more people giving of themselves to help prop up the community. Churches, nonprofits, whatever. Just donating your time to help. Because like I don't know, there
I'd
was an
like to see that
epiphany.
too, but we can wish and hope for that all we want, but you can't really make that happen
No,
without making it happen. You know what I mean?
and
Like,
and that's what I live my life according to those principles. Every day I do, like I live in that way. Like I had an epiphany like a long time ago where I realized like, wow, shit, Earth, this is all we have. We're like kind of alone in the cosmos. This is it.
yeah,
Um, I got to take care of my fellow human beings. And so I do. And maybe I'm hoping to inspire that in other people. Um, to be like, hey, because there's so much conflict in politics and religion and all this shit. There's good that comes out of politics and religion and whatnot, but very little. Um, very
planet Earth
little.
needs to be prepping.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, and this is the thing. It's like we've talked about prepping before, but I have a substantial amount of resources collected here. But it isn't because I expect to go it alone in like the apocalypse. It's like, no, I expect my friends and neighbors are going to come by and we're going to try to weather the storm, I guess, together. And
Mm.
I've been prepping. I share information about prepping. I want everybody to be ready because, like, it's that whole teach a man to fish thing. Um, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but people doing the job aren't the people making money. Well, I mean, they're making money, like they're getting a paycheck. Um, but no, I get what.
The point is,
Yeah, no,
it's not proportional to the importance, the difficulty, um, and I mean that's true across the board with corporate structure.
oh, it is. Yeah, and
Like
government
the
too.
higher you go, the easier it is for you, and the more
Mm-hmm.
money you make. Like which
Yeah,
feeds off of one another and amplifies each other. And yeah, I mean, it is. I will admit that it's hard to argue for like uh, combining a promotion with a pay decrease, which would be probably objectively more fair, but also
but
at the
then
same
people would
time, like,
be disinclined to actually do things to get that promotion.
right, yeah. So, but I mean, if there were some like other incentive apart from money, like if other benefits tacked on to replace the the paycheck aspect of it or something
Mm-hmm.
as you rose through the ranks. Something that you couldn't really exploit for anything you want, right?
Mhm.
But maybe say like, like the higher you go, the more of your fucking daily bills will pay. Hey, hand us your utility bill. Keep the heat on all you want. We'll
Mhm.
pay it. Like if but that's not something that you can hang over someone else's head, like with cash money, you know?
Mhm.
So a system like that, maybe if one corporation decided to experiment with that and say, hey, look, our CEO makes minimum wage on paper,
Mhm.
but we pay all their bills. So that minimum wage actually goes a long fucking way
Yeah.
for whatever they want to spend it on, you know?
Mhm.
Mortgage
Yeah.
is paid, utilities are paid, gas is paid wherever they want to drive, as long as they want to drive, as far as they want to drive, we just pay the gas,
Mhm.
but they make minimum wage.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, I
Uh,
think that's fair.
I agree.
I would do that job.
Yeah.
Like,
Hell yeah.
honestly,
Like you know how
no
much of
bills
my
and
money
minimum
goes
wage,
to
and I just
rent.
tell people what to do. Fuck
You know
yeah.
how much of my money goes to rent and utilities? It's like so much so that I bought a fucking sailboat to get away from it and bought land in Nevada to get away from it. Cause like, yeah, oh, that's my retirement plan.
Mm.
I'm not expecting, and this goes back to like the government and stuff. It's like, oh, Social Security. Oh, it's a social safety net. It's going to protect you and carry you. And what? No, like, there's not going to be a single penny coming my way. And I've been paying my entire life. Well, my working life at least. And I'm not going to see any of that. So I got to build a different system um, to compensate. And that's bullshit. Like, that's totally bullshit.
You'll probably see more of it than I will because you're older and you've
Don't
been
remind
working
me.
full time for a lot longer.
Yeah. I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
And I'm not even in the country anymore. Though
Yeah.
I will actually still, there's an agreement between the USA and Germany that I'll still be able to collect on that
Mm-hmm.
if it's there.
Yeah. I don't think it will be.
It
And that,
it at, by the time I can collect it, it'll be 80 cents on the dollar
mm-hmm.
at their current estimation anyway.
Current, yeah. So by the time you actually start collecting, it's going to be,
Yeah.
like 23 cents on the dollar, if that.
Mm, God.
Um, and I guess maybe this is my gripe with the system is they propagandize people and con people into believing that like, oh, big brother is going to take care of you and solve all your woes. You just have to have faith and we'll take care of you. Fuck that.
But what can they do? They're just a TV show on MTV.
Yeah. No, not the TV show. Like Big Brother in the 1984 sense. But
Yeah.
and in that, it's like I already know I'm fucked. So I'm operating on that premise. I'm also operating on the premise that everybody else is fucked. So look, if I have a little bit of extra, I'm gonna put it aside to help a few other people. And if everybody did that, we'd be fine. We wouldn't need government. We wouldn't need anything. If everybody just helped a couple people put aside things, there's a fire going on, you go and you volunteer and help. Like, I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I know the answer is not what we have right now.
I actually would encourage people to watch the Red Dwarf episode, The Inquisitor,
Oh yeah.
and actually like ask themselves those kinds of questions, like justify your existence.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing
Mm-hmm.
to make a positive impact on the world? Because however small, that's actually the great philosophical takeaway from an episode of a cheeky little British comedy
Mm-hmm.
is that you can have a very small impact as long as you understand that you are doing something good for the
Yes,
world around you.
absolutely.
It doesn't have to be grand,
No,
like,
it could just be like helping your neighbor, helping somebody that you, a stranger or something. Uh,
mhm.
and we should be doing that. Like, yeah, let's go back to pizza. Remember the ad campaign for Tombstone Pizza? You know, blindfold, cigarette. What do you want on your tombstone? Cheese and pepperoni. Um, but like that is a thing. What do you want on your tombstone? What do you want that to say? The
Grey
legacy that
Poupon.
you left. Grey Poupon, yeah. I actually, there's a whole story behind that where like me and my friend on bicycles like flagged down uh, a limo and like knocked on their window. They rolled the window down and I was like, "Do you have any Grey Poupon?" And like the guy was like, "Actually, I do." And
But of
it's
course.
like, yeah, it's like what? Um, so Victoria's got some comments though. Insulin, heart medication, not everything can be prepped or produced small scale. No, this is true, but the reason insulin is expensive is government. It's patents. That's why it's expensive. Insulin,
Well,
like,
beyond that, that's not something you can actually like prep. You can't hoard it or
no,
store it long term. Like it has an expiration. It has to be refrigerated.
this is
If the
true.
grid goes down, anything you do prep is fucking wasted.
I know. Yeah. And that is an
So,
issue. And that's where it's like communities do need to be ready. Um,
well, I
and
think once
that's,
we talked about like there ought to be some kind of like what was it? Like a I think we talked about some kind of like community storage center or something where
yeah.
things like that were, everybody kind of chipped in to keep a generator going or something so that there's
Mm-hmm.
always refrigeration for things just like that,
Mm-hmm.
insulin, certain, foods that are kind of a nutritional staple, but can't really be canned or
Well,
necessarily that well or
and this is like it goes back to my personal philosophy on prepping and why I share all the prepping stuff is like it benefits me if my neighbors are ready. So like there's not going to be a drag on me because my neighbors are not ready or whatever. Like we have a plan, there's everything in place. So in the inevitable emergency that will happen, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when it will happen. Um, be it, I don't know, seismic events or a volcano erupting or aliens invading or something, or I don't know, the fucking Sasquatch deciding to finally make itself known um, and like kick
and
everybody's ass.
decimate the entire human population.
Yeah. But like, that's the thing
It
is
sounds
like,
like a good B movie.
it, it actually, yes. God damn it. I need to make that now. Fucking A. Um, it, but like, yeah, insulin is only expensive because patents. Insulin should be like $5 or so. It'd be something you can get from the Dollar Tree. Um, it is that old. It's like aspirin.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so
I mean,
it
pretty
is
much every other developed country, it is super cheap.
it
So,
it is. Yeah. Well, and in fact, you can get even in the US, right? Like I actually have a coworker who is diabetic and has to take insulin. And he was bitching like it was one of those things. I was at work and I was sitting there at my in my office and I heard him like yelling about something and I came out and he and my other coworker were like having a conversation about him dealing with insurance companies and the government and all the paperwork and insulin. And it's like, I'm gonna fucking die. um, And I was like, well, you know, they make insulin for pets, right? Isn't that the same thing? And he's like, well, yeah, it is. So he looked it up, and yeah, you could buy insulin for like pennies on the dollar on Amazon. To just order it. I'm like, okay, well, it's literally the same thing. So
Um,
why it is?
well, no, because initially insulin was made from pigs and that it wasn't like perfect, and now
Yeah,
it's human insulin.
yeah.
So there is a difference.
No, but the
Know
pet
that
stuff,
for
it
a
like
fact.
the pet stuff chemically is identical. Identical. It is just because you
So
don't
either
have
we're
to.
using human insulin for animals,
I I don't
or
know all the details because I don't have to take insulin, but I know that it's really, really close.
I mean, no doubt it's better than nothing, but
Yes. Yeah, but it's like, okay, why is this like, you know, a month's uh quantity is like $14. But if you go to a doctor, now it's like all of a sudden like thousands of dollars.
yeah.
That's fucking bullshit. Like, I'm pissed about that. What? Yeah,
Mhm.
we got to change that.
Yeah.
But me, I'm like, I don't. I think, well, okay. Well, the question I would ask is like, it's basically the same thing. So how come this version is expensive and this other thing that's pretty much identical is dirt cheap? What's the
Unchecked
difference?
profit.
And that comes back to government. Um, but
I
patents.
mean, I mean, government not checking the profit. Yeah.
Well,
Um,
it
but
they
it's
don't.
not like the government's fault.
The
It's
government. No, no, no. The
it's the
government.
corporation. It's the corporation's
It's
fault.
we live in a fascistic corporatocracy. So keep that in mind. The government will always do things to make profit for companies and things like that. Um, so be mad at the
But that
corporations for sure.
yeah,
Be
that's the
be mad at
corporation's
the
fault. But
corporations, but also be mad at your elected officials who promised to make things better. They
yeah,
lie. They lie. If their mouth is open and it's waggling and they're saying things, it's all lies.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
I'm definitely mad at
that's
both,
my
but
point.
like
Yeah.
you can't fix the government problem without first fixing the core. Um,
Well, the core is the government. That's my point. Is
no,
like
it,
corporations,
it the core
businesses.
is the corporation lobbying the government to allow the corporation to
Well,
rape the
then
public.
that shows you the government is the problem because
No,
a company.
it starts at the corporation. The
Yeah.
corporation says, I
However,
want to make more money off of
all right,
this.
all right.
What do I have
Let's
to do? I have to pay the government. Once the government
yeah.
allows me to do this unchecked, then I can screw them over. And the
Okay.
government is complicit in that,
Well,
but they are not the cause of that. They are
do a
not the
little bit of
core problem.
mathematics here though and say like, okay, if you took the corporate world and removed the government, what would it look like? Then if you took the government world and removed the corporations, what would that look like? Like
It would
it
look a lot better.
the gut well, okay, I you and I agree
Pri
on that.
pri
Yes.
private businesses alone without corporation
Mm-hmm.
and government would be far better than just private corporations and no government. Oh God, that would be a fucking hellscape. Oh
Well,
God. Can't
I
even imagine the nightmare that would be.
well, you wouldn't have private corporations without government because like corporations are a government product. Like you would just open the doors and put up a sign. There'd be no such thing as a corporation. I mean,
Right,
unless you
but if the
wanted them to be.
government went away overnight, the existing corporations with all their power and their money
But they're like I've
and their
said.
saturation in the market
Well,
alone would
and
allow them to
they don't.
continue to dominate.
They don't have any power. Government, religion, corporations have no power but faith. It is our belief that they have power that gives them power. That's what I've been saying
Nah,
all this time.
money is
Like
power.
Well,
Money might be
no, it isn't.
like a made up thing, but it
Money
is
is faith as
real.
well. Money is faith as well. Like
Ah, God, like
dollars and stuff. Like
you can't just wish
I'm
somebody's
not
power
wishing
away.
anything.
That's
I'm
it's
just
not
saying.
fate. It's not
I'm just
fate.
saying. Like, well, okay. I mean,
Something may have been
so I
created by
guess it's
faith, but it can
tangible.
be
It's
very
like a
real.
real world thing, is it? Huh? Like
Huh?
that. It's like hard coded in the human system that money is real, government is real, religion is real, corporations are real, right? Like we didn't make this up. It's a real thing.
We did make it up, but
Yeah.
it
So
is
it's
real.
faith. That's my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
It's
it's
it
created by faith.
only exists because we believe that it exists. If
Yeah,
we
but
stop believing,
ceasing, do you think that you alone simply ceasing to believe that money is real
no,
affects other
no,
people?
no, of
No,
course not.
that's faith. That's
No,
that's
no,
like
no.
crazy faith.
I don't believe that. And but my point
And so
is,
so there's no point in saying that it's just
no,
faith-based because that
there
affects
is
nothing.
a point. There is a point because I believe in changing hearts and minds, and I believe the way forward is to dismiss the ways of the past.
A
And
hundred, 1,000, a million, or a billion people thinking that money is just faith and it will just poof and vanish
but
and the
you've
power
even
will go
said
with
that
it. That
yourself.
won't work.
You have a whole system based on that idea, right?
No, it's a system based on supplanting the existing system with one that's effectively, let's face it, also faith-based. Like
Okay, no,
very
you're right.
realistically speaking, it
Yeah.
is entirely faith-based,
Mhm.
and is
I
just a
respect you for
metric.
saying that. Yeah.
It's a metric of measuring that faith rather than measuring the value of a thing. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but it like that's the point I'm trying to make is that faith might be like created in the mind, but the things that arise from it are very real. Power is real.
No, it isn't. It isn't. If
If
somebody,
something is able to affect change, it's not a figment of the imagination anymore.
of course not, but you choose the path that you make. If somebody points a gun at me and is like, give me your wallet, I could be like, okay, shoot me. You have to choose that now. I've made that decision that now instead of me just being complicit and a patsy and handing over my wallet, now they're going to have to shoot me for that wallet. So I've made that decision. Um, like
It's a very Darwinian way
I
of
feel well,
um
good way to put it. Yeah,
uh,
but like
I don't
we
know if I
have,
would go that route.
I guess my point is like we have the capacity to affect change way more than we think. That's what I'm getting at, and that's why I say like we need like to really make a difference. We have to dispense with that faith. This is old hat. This is old shit from hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. Like a lot of mumbo jumbo that a bunch of kings and fucking priests made up. Like, let's take that, put it in a little box, and throw it in the fire. Now it's time to go to the future. This is
We
the
didn't
future I want
start
to
the
see.
fire.
Oh man, that's a good song. Oh geez,
Whew.
man.
My and my bladder's getting pretty full.
Yeah,
So
mine too. So, but I mean, we have some good comments though.
yeah.
Social constructs still affect very real things. They do, but my point is they only affect things because we respond to those things. They don't inherently have that power. Like Casey was saying, like, oh, there's actual power. There isn't. You choose for that power to affect you. Of course, it can in the form of guys with guns and whatnot. Um, but I, it no, but I don't know. I had a point and I've kind of lost it there. But I think the only way forward is to throw away the old ways of doing things and dismissing the idea of power, because back in the day people thought God had power, right? Jesus, um, Muhammad, um, Buddha, or whatever, like pick your god, they had power. We now know that's kind of nonsense. um, there's still people who believe that, but government is no different. It's basically just the same playbook but a different season. I guess. um, like it's all the same, and this is why I'm just kind of done with it all, because I've seen this play out over and over and over again so many times, and it's no different. There's no change.
Well, that's why that's why I came up with the system I did, the integrity coin idea
Mm-hmm.
is that I asked myself why over and over again until I got down to, well, made up or not, and I do think money is made up.
It is, yeah.
It
Oh no, I 100% agree on that.
it
Yeah,
is very real in that it has effect, a
yeah.
very powerful effect, which no one can actually escape until they have way too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like money is really the currency of power and nothing else. Like even when it's tied to gold, it's not a measurement of how much gold you have. It's a measurement
But
of how much power you have.
no, no, no. Okay, I get. I'm picking up what you're putting down there. Like
Hmm.
gold, you can't. Well, to the best of my knowledge, we can't make gold out of nothing, out of non-gold. Um, so it's like a finite thing. Um, so it kind of makes sense, but it's like, well, why gold? Why not something else? Why
Well,
not
yeah,
plutonium? Why not oh, I don't know, like weird exotic elements, right?
yeah. I mean, here's the thing though, like the, it doesn't matter what scarce item you supplant with the gold standard or cryptocurrency or whatever, the accumulation of it will accumulate power. The ability to accumulate something that you can use to get things that other people can't, things like that create these.
I I have a thought, but I have to take a piss really quick, so
Yeah,
keep going on
I'll
about that.
expand upon it.
Yeah.
Like by creating something that you can actually amass allows you to exert a higher force of power wherever you see fit. Now, with the system that I talked about creating, it wasn't necessarily something that you could lose, but it also didn't carry like a monetary value. Like it wasn't like one integrity coin bought like five gumballs. It had more to do with being similar, mind you, but not the same as a social credit score, wherein like somebody could see how honest and altruistic of a person you are without actually knowing you based on this kind of score, right? Like your bank account, if you will, of integrity coin. And they could decide, you know what, like I will be altruistic to you and give you this thing at cost, or in a more evolved version of integrity coin where it's actually got more like buying power, let's say, they might even say, you know what, here, I'll eat the cost and you can have this. Where money begins to lose its power because there's a new game in town. And that's not something that you can say like, I've got 6 million integrity coins so I can exert this influence over somebody, because you can't give it to someone in a one-to-one sense, you know? It
Mhm.
and obviously the idea
Yeah,
needs
I,
a lot of nuancing.
yeah,
And
yeah. No, I, 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 I want you to know, like, I disagree on certain principles, but I completely get where, like, the point of this concept, and I completely agree with that.
yeah,
Like, yeah, that we should be working in that direction, um, somehow, some way. And maybe, and your concept is probably like an interim between uh the old ways of trading shells and gold coins and dollar bills and whatnot to like the future. um
yeah,
like, because this is the thing, and this is like, I want to stress this so strongly. We live in a post scarcity world.
yeah.
Planet Earth is not like, we don't have no resources. Like,
Everything essential we
yes,
can we
yep,
can supply
every single
basically limitlessly.
you you only have to go and look at videos of like Walmarts or like grocery store Safeways or whatever throwing away perfectly good food. And this goes back to when I was a little kid, and at my little school, we did a field trip to McDonald's. And I remember going to McDonald's, and you get the behind the scenes and like how they make the fries and all this stuff. And there was this big ass trash can, and people were dumping chicken McNuggets in it. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, oh, well, they're like, it's out of date, like, it's not safe, we have to throw it away. And I'm like, they're fucking steaming, they're still good, like I could literally reach in there and eat those McNuggets and I'd be just fine. But there's a whole trash can full of them. And that's the thing, it's like, this is the world we inhabit, where we're throwing away so much shit that could easily, like, there is no excuse. Pretend I'm an outsider for a minute, like I'm an alien or something looking in. I There is no excuse for a single human being to go hungry, to go thirsty, to not have basic medical treatment, um, to have shelter, in some form. Like, the anarchist in me is like, well, you can't deny a person the ability to shelter for the night. Like,
Yeah.
that's my take on it. It's like, hey, if somebody, and I've actually done this. There have been people who have come to my house and are like, it's fucking raining, and they're like homeless, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll you can sleep in the backyard or whatever, or hang out inside the house, because I believe in that. And principles, that's what we need, is like, you got to stick to your guns. Like, I believe in this so fervently that I'm going to live it every single day of my life to the best of my ability, despite the government, despite corporations, despite society and its bullshit. Like, I'm going to live it. I'm going to make the world a better place, because that's what I want on my goddamn tombstone. All right.
with with pepperoni.
Yeah.
Were these like strangers?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I had like this lady randomly just come up to me when I was digging in the side of the house. She's like, "Oh,
Huh.
I don't have anywhere to sleep tonight. Can I hang out here?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right. Why not? I'm not going to just leave you unattended because I don't know you. I mean, I have a lot of guns and shit in the house, so uh still, but it's like, hey, I can't deny a fellow human being shelter. That's
Yeah,
like the primary thing. In fact, the rule of threes, shelter is number one. That is the thing that you will die the soonest if you don't have, is shelter. Doesn't mean you
sec.
get a fucking, 4-bedroom house or something like that, but at least, like, hey, if I have a place to shelter out of the weather, um, I should help with that, like give it for the night.
Yeah,
It used to
I,
be a common thing.
I've
Um,
slept on your couch a couple times.
mhm, mhm.
Mostly because I was drunk.
Yeah. Well, the
But
couch is always open. Like that's the thing. It's like I have friends that live by the same philosophy too.
I will
Like
I will
Sutton.
sooner sleep on a couch than ride a motorcycle drunk.
Uh, oh, I thought you were gonna say like sleep in the like a field in
Oh,
the rain or something. Um,
I
oh
mean, yeah,
yeah.
wherever the motorcycle lands. Yeah.
Mhm. We have a lot of comments though that I kind of want to get into.
Mm.
Um, let's see. Oh, some of these negotiate with people to hold it back to feudalism. We surprise, we actually live in a pseudo feudalist world. Um, but the danger of that is bigotry and mobbing. Yes, that is a huge problem. Um, but that's humans. Uh,
Was that maybe in regards to the integrity coin
I
idea?
think, yeah, I think so. And
Yeah,
and and that's
I
where
was
it's like,
working on ways to mitigate that. Yeah, I definitely recommend checking out that episode. Well, there was a couple about that actually, but yeah.
and again, like I disagree with your implementation, but I agree with the point, like the philosophy, like the gist of what you're going for.
Hmm.
I'm 100% behind it. Like,
There's
why not try it?
definitely technological
I
hurdles and like,
sure.
what if there's a global blackout and
I,
your economy's gone, of
yeah,
course there's
exactly.
problems, but you got to have something on the drawing board to at
What
least play with the idea,
and, and
and
and I'm
that's
not
all it
one
is.
to poo-poo trying things. Like,
Yeah,
why not? Like, your idea is 10,000 times better than any politician's idea in the last 100 years. So why not? Go ahead, knock yourself out. We can try it.
yeah,
What if it works? What if? Because
yeah. I
I'll
mean,
tell you what we've been doing for the last many hundreds of years hasn't worked.
right.
Um, so
No
yeah,
matter what, we definitely have to think outside the box
yeah,
for evolving. Like
yep.
we cannot evolve if we keep doing the same shit over and over
I
again. As times change,
mhm.
so too must methods
Yes,
and policies, and like so so much of society is stuck in this idea that rigidity is strength. But I mean,
a
that's
tradition too.
like, yeah, but I mean, like inflexibility,
Mhm.
people see that as strength, and it's like in the moment, maybe,
Yes,
you
yeah.
know, but when it comes to, when the wind starts blowing, even these fucking super hard, solid trees with cell walls and stuff that humans don't have
Mhm.
still bend. And if they don't, they break.
Well, it's the Japanese saying, like bend like the willow, right?
Yeah.
And we need to be able to adapt in that regard. Well, because like in the US and probably in Europe, there's still a bunch of laws that pertain to POTS phone systems, which literally nobody uses. In the US, the old phone system, landlines as they called them, it's dead. Like my dad had to like switch to a cell phone 100% because there were issues with the phone system, and he called the phone company, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't even like send people out for that anymore." So there's all this copper wire and stuff that's degrading and falling apart, and just like, and they're abandoning it. And
Copper wire? Where, man?
yeah, yeah. Oh
Where's the
yeah.
copper wire?
I actually, outside my house, there's a ground wire that has a sign like tacked onto the post that says this is steel wire. There's no copper inside. Uh, so the meth heads don't try to yoink the wires down. But like that's the thing, is like things change. Like, I mean, it it's okay. Like, we advance, and there's nothing wrong with that. But people feeling like, oh, we got to do things that appeals to tradition and stuff. Like, well, I mean, there is, okay, there's a little bit, there's a nugget of value in that, and like traditions do have some value, like your culture and stuff. Um, but beyond that, we evolve, things change, seasons change, people change. It just happens, and accept it.
Tradition. Yeah, okay. So tradition has like a definite evolutionary role in that in the short term, things that work generally will continue to work for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, you're right,
And
in the short term.
and
Yeah.
even when things change and the tradition may still continue to work in a diminished capacity, but there almost always comes a point where some tradition must be discarded
Yeah.
for a new way. And
Exactly. Well, and that's where, like, I think the value in hanging on to the old ways, like, is important, because maybe we don't want to change for the sake of change, just
right,
because the kids come up and they're like, "Oh, hey, this is the new thing. We're all going to wear this or that, and we're going to listen to this music and stuff, and that everything is going to be different." Um, well, maybe we should temper that.
right.
Like, let's wait and see. It's okay to entertain the new emerging ideas, but
What is that?
at some point we have to be welcome to the idea of, like, hey, at some point the old ways just don't make sense anymore. It doesn't make sense to have telephones with
What's that
copper wire.
Asian principle of like getting rid of stuff based on like if it brings you joy or if it has a use or
Oh
if you
yeah.
used it in a certain period of time or something. Like
Yeah.
a a system of analysis like that, maybe not exactly that, but in that vein, I think is actually really crucial for
Mm-hmm.
examining tradition. Like let's say each and every time you enact the tradition, what on whatever, usually it's like an annual thing or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each and every time, maybe examine it in a certain light. Like, is this doing good? Is this neutral? Is this doing bad? Like, is there something better? Is there something different? Is there something, like more suited
Mm-hmm.
to the task at hand? Whatever that may be. Some traditions carry more impact than others.
But
And, like
absolutely.
I feel like that should be part of tradition is examining the tradition for
Sure.
relevancy.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with, like, enjoying a traditional thing for nostalgia's sake. Like, I people who know me know that I'm a witchy person. And so, the equinoxes and solstices and stuff, I'm kind of big on those, and a certain kind of moon is a big deal to me. But I know that at the end of the day, it's like, well, It's just light. It's where the sun is and where the earth is, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But it's kind of fun to play around with that, and enjoy that. And maybe we need a little bit of that sometimes. Like,
I mean, light has a real effect on human biology,
absolutely, the
well,
angle of the
biology in
sun.
general.
Yeah.
Um, Gravity, all these things do have effects.
Oh yeah.
Um, so the moon definitely like it makes sense how that became such an integral part of religion.
Hmm.
The moon and the sun and
But like
stars
for
in
the
general, but
pagans of the past, it was an agricultural thing.
yeah.
And me not being necessarily an agricultural person right now, I will be. I will be. Um, but like, it doesn't really matter in the here and now, but still, it's like, it's a connection, a bond, a link to the past, so to speak, to like connect with my ancestors. Um, and I think there's value in that. But my ancestors are, I I don't want to say not human, but um, they probably
I
are.
I always think of the one of Worf's greatest lines. I think it even came from DS9, where he was like, "We killed all of our gods. It became too much trouble." Like,
Fucking amazing. Nice. Oh yeah. Oh, we got some comments though. Uh, let's see.
like the
Yeah.
tradition of monogamy.
Oh yeah. 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 Exactly. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Um, that should be like a whole entire episode. Honestly, I'd love
I
to talk
mean,
about that.
that can be true. It is like a personal thing. Like some traditions may work for some people and not for others, and
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I am atheist agnostic, but I respect people who believe in religions. Um, I'm definitely non-monogamous, but I respect people who have monogamous relationships. And it's like, hey, if somebody celebrates their anniversary and it's like, oh, well, we've been married for 15 years, I'm like, hey, awesome, more power to you. Like, that's not something I could do, but it isn't for me.
but it
Um,
is though. Like, don't you have non-monogamous relationships that last several years?
I for eternity. That's like, in my mind, I'm thinking they're going to last forever. I like,
So
I
that
don't. It doesn't have to have a
that's a
title.
faith that spans from monogamy to non-monogamy. It's actually no different when you think about it.
Oh yeah, kinda.
Like the
Just like, well, the
the only
difference is,
tradition difference there is how many people are involved in that.
and there currently isn't like a historical tradition in that regard. Well, today, there may have been in the past. Cultures may not have been quite so monogamous back in the day. Um, but it, yeah, that's a very interesting point.
Yeah. There is probably like a maximum capacity based on like sociological studies of how many actual meaningful relationships one human can actually
Well,
maintain.
and they've talked about that. That's been studied with like friends and stuff, and
Yeah,
maybe a couple dozen, if that. And
yeah.
when it comes to like partners, maybe as many as you can count on one hand. Um, like, if you discount like the comets and satellites and stuff like that. But yeah, like solid all the time partners, yeah, maybe like four or five would be kind of the upper limit of most
Yeah.
people. Um, let's see. Uh, Fuck my ancestors. They were absolutely terrible people. Yes, yeah, so were mine. The
Oh,
fucking
I
Norse
I read
people.
that with the comma in a different place. I thought it was fuck. My ancestors were absolutely terrible.
Oh
But
yeah.
I could see how yours would work too.
We,
That's why punctuation is
punctuation.
important.
Yes. Yeah.
Fuck my ancestors.
But mine were, yeah, the Norse people, the Vikings. Well, your people too, I
Mm,
guess.
yeah.
Um, yeah, a bunch of assholes. Fucking like, oh yeah, people are like, oh, Columbus and colonization of the US and whatnot. Like, oh yeah, we were there long before those bastards. Like, we got settlements coming out of our ass. Like we took over the Americas. And then just like forgot about it. And that's the thing. Like this,
I
like
don't
the
I don't think I have any nationality in my blood that wasn't part of colonialism in some regard, you know.
I, well, I would challenge anybody to find a nationality that doesn't have that some
All right.
way or somehow. That is the way humans have been doing things, and I guess this kind of goes back to what I'm talking about. It's like I want to get away from all that bullshit. Like we're beyond that. Like at this point in time, resources are nigh unlimited. Like we have limitless energy. There is enough energy we could power the entire planet for fucking free for the next 10,000 years. Probably more. There's going to be innovations that are discovered along the way. But like between uranium and plutonium and thorium and stuff, like, well, we got at least like a couple 10,000 years. Um, and then beyond that, who knows? Fusion, I guess. We're already on the cusp of fusion. Um,
Yeah.
so it, and that's kind of the key because when you have energy, you have everything. Um, and we already know how to do all the agriculture. Like we know how to process food, water, whatever. We have expedient shelters. There's little pop-up things you could throw up at a moment's notice. Um, like it's nothing. Like human civilization is sussed. It's figured out. Like we've got it. Like why are we fighting? I don't understand it. And then people, and this is the point about government and faith and religion and stuff. And it's like, this is why people are fighting because it's us versus them. It's these guys versus my guys or whatever. And like, well, they're the same guys. You're all the fucking same.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we recognize that and be like, hey, maybe sure, I understand. Human beings are they get off on challenge, but there are challenges that don't involve killing each other. Like going and exploring the stars and stuff. Like Alpha Centauri, it's 4.5 light years away. We could get there. Like it is within our grasp. Why don't we do that and live stream it, right? uh,
It's been said the quickest way to end a war is to lose.
yeah.
And it makes you think like the longer a war goes on, the more both sides lose. Like no one ever really wins a war.
No,
It costs everybody.
no, no.
And not just the people fighting it, it's
I
the people like affected by the economical impact and the fucking
the
artillery,
environmental
you
and
know, like everything.
lives.
And
Well,
like
and I will go back
all
to
of it is stupid. So just
yeah.
if somebody aggresses upon another country, all the other countries should just fire everything they got at that one motherfucker and wipe them off the planet until everyone is like, you know what? I'm not going to pick any fights anymore. Like,
Yeah.
like
Well,
I
that would be
bet that would
fine.
just take one, honestly.
Hmm.
Like,
Well, I will go back to Eric's rules number 43. There are no victors in war, only survivors. So there you go. A little piece of wisdom from yours truly. And yes, I do have a set of rules.
Aha.
Like, yeah. But no, you're right.
Okay, Gibbs.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, what's her name? Robin, I think it was from TNG, right? Robin's rules.
Could
She
be.
she was the girl that
Is that the
Wesley
Ashley
Crusher had
Judd
a
character?
yeah, maybe.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wesley had a crush on, and she gave him the book at the end of the day. And yeah. um, uh, well, we have
Well,
comments too. My ancestors discussed blankets over breakfast served by enslaved people. If you follow, well, yeah, I mean, that's been history for the longest time, and it'll still be history unless we make a change. Like, we'll be talking about the same shit 400 years from now unless people get their heads out of their ass and make a difference. Uh, because that is the product of, well, I mean, it's a product of progress. Like it, oh, I don't know, man. uh, we're so unaware of how much of our daily stuff is the systems until it's gone. Oh, Silver's rule: the living thing in front of me first. Oh, we have a we have another rule. Nice. Thank you for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone can just make a rule and make it sound poignant and important, but
Well, I actually have this as a document with let's see, how many rules
well,
do
now
I
it's
have
official.
here? I've got about 50. Um, so there you go. Ah, man.
Well,
I,
I
I
guess my rule is it's past my bedtime, so
it is. Oh, man. It's very late over there on the other side of planet Earth.
yes.
Although it's always sunrise and sunset somewhere. So, hey, reason to drink. Hmm.
Well, I guess we'll invite people to join us next week,
Yeah,
and
this is
I'm
a
sure
good
we'll
one.
have something equally engaging.
Yeah. As usual, we went down like a completely convoluted path into like the same territory, the same beautiful territory. It's like, we're coming across similar themes over and over and over again.
So much of the world really boils down to economy. Like how
But
much influence and power that exerts over humanity is staggering. Like
well, energy is really where it's at. But I mean, hey, that's a whole different episode we could talk about. But, I mean, we're talking about the same thing at the end of the day. And it always comes back to like take care of each other. Like this literally is spaceship Earth. This is the place. This is where we all inhabit. This is it. Like if we fuck this up, it's game over. We're done. So in that, and also it's like, hey, what if an advanced alien species, well, I did a minute microscopy about that. What if an advanced alien species contacted us and they're like, wow, y'all are a bunch of fucking idiots. Maybe you're worthy of just being annihilated. Like, okay, well, why don't we behave as if that's a possibility so that if that does happen, it won't happen. um, and also maybe we can avert a bunch of nonsense that we're constantly dealing with. Like, yeah, why don't we live in a Star Trek universe right now? We
Yeah,
have the resources. Um, like,
absolutely.
and what do we want to sit there and fucking argue about sports ball until the aliens invade, and then they're like, wow, what a bunch of dumbasses, they're talking about sports ball, we'll push the red button and just take them out because they're nothing, and then we'll take over.
Well, it
Don't
shouldn't be
we?
overlooked that a core principle of Roddenberry's utopian vision
Mm-hmm.
was evolving past the need for money,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
no, no. Absolutely. But that is a resource too, and it ties into energy. Um, and like we have the ability to operate beyond that. And like, why don't we conduct ourselves as if there's a galactic federation out there, right? That like we have to prove ourselves. Can't we, at the bare minimum, do that? Prove ourselves to the hypothetical galactic empire that we're worthy of inclusion in
To
their.
the Inquisitor.
Yes, exactly. Well, no, this is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Always, yeah, Red Dwarf is more
mhm,
philosophically deep than I think people would give it credit for, you
yeah,
know.
well, and actually, Victoria put a good comment. My biggest fear is aliens will treat us how we treat each other, which is 100% the Inquisitor, because you are judged by yourself.
Right?
So it is you
Is
who
that
decide.
quite possibly the deepest Red Dwarf episode there was?
Well, there was also the one where with
That would be a good
JFK,
episode, actually, if we examined the philosophical depth of Red Dwarf
we
episodes.
should, and I wish the BBC was more
Oh yeah,
accommodating
fuck
for
those
people talking
guys.
about things and
Could
including
do one
clips.
Red Dwarf episode with
Yeah,
clips, and just like every other channel doing like reviews on stuff
yeah,
and like Star Trek is like there's tons of YouTube channels doing Star Trek clips.
yeah.
They're fine, and then the BBC is like, no, this one channel with like 3,000 subscribers, you gotta shut that shit down.
Yeah, exactly.
Of
Well,
which
maybe
only 2 or 3 people are watching at any
we're
given
spitting
time.
too much truth, I think, probably.
God.
That's unfortunate, but I mean that is, we should be operating on that principle that we're going to be judged by ourselves, and we should operate on the principle that there is a galactic federation out there of other species, starfaring species, that are looking at us and are like, yeah, do we attack them or do we let them into the club? Like, I'd like to be on the side of the, like, being let into the club. um
Yeah.
I want to be part of that camp, not the like, oh, well, you're too stupid to exist, so we'll just take you over. Hmm.
I guess as a closing remark, there's a comment here about the Silver's rule, I guess.
Mhm.
I was threatening a cardinal at my window, cardinal first, then window. Well, I would give you right there because you got to be careful with those Catholics. They're, especially when you have kids, if they're at your window, I would be a little suspicious too.
I would, I tell you what, like a Catholic priest versus like a homeless guy at the window. I think I'd take the homeless guy.
Right?
Like, I'd feel pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
Um, just the track record, not judging anybody though.
Yeah.
Like, because
The priests can always shelter themselves with God's love and their own smug self-satisfaction.
if only we had. Hey, you know what? When the aliens invade, we'll be like, hey, we bestow upon you the love of Jesus. Uh, if that acted as a shield, wouldn't that be amazing?
Now I want to watch the Demons and Angels episode of Red Dwarf.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Your love is like a babbling brook, brother.
See, they Red dwarf. Like, I wish we could. Oh my god.
Forgive me. Uh, my blood is getting all over your
My
dagger.
blood
Like,
seems to have stained the jacket.
yeah, it's like a bunch of Canadians or something.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Well,
Oh
I
well.
better pack it in.
Yeah, we've been at it for a little while, so I think it's time to call it a day or a night, wherever you are. It's all the same. It's planet Earth. Like, there's the sun's coming up somewhere.
It's bright
Um,
and early at Casey Station, Bailey Peninsula in the South Pole.
yeah. Well, and if you're in orbit or between planets, like, there is no sunrise or sunset. So sit on that one for a
Just
minute.
burning in your face constantly.
Well, one half is burning, the other is freezing. So
All right.
consider that. Space is a harsh mistress. All right. Good way to conclude.
Fun little tidbit fact: the country name Ethiopia means burning face in their language.
Huh.
So it's kind of cool,
There,
huh?
there, well, man.
Imagine that calling your country burning face. Like,
Oh man. Well, all right. Well, I had some thoughts about like the Dogon and stuff like that, and talking about people that shouldn't know anything about star systems who do. Anyway, uh,
Dogon, that's Turkish food, right?
maybe it could also be a people too. So,
Ah,
whatever. Anyway, on that thought, we'll call it a day or a night, and we'll see you next time.
that was a falafel joke.
Take care of each other out there. All right. Yeah.